Proud of how they hung in playing in a mud ball.
Absolutely. You know, today the discussion came to me about moving the game or not, and you know, you would think I think I swung 5 different times within a half hour, you know. But it came down to football should be played on Friday night, and if it's raining, you should play football. And,
sure.
You know, down the road, if we get into some weather, we can't just pick and choose the date. We got to step up and get it done.
And then you get the ball for the first time and you fumble it.
Right.
You're thinking, why did I do this?
Right. Yeah, but Chris hung in there. You know, that's a heck of a job.
Sure.
We worked on it. We adjusted his snap at halftime a little bit, his grip on the ball, and I think it was a little bit better. But you know, he's a young sophomore, and you know, he didn't get frustrated. And I was real happy to see, you know, the senior lineman, someone really took him under the wing and you know kept him focused and finished it right.
Did you guys have a talk about, look, we're probably going to fumble, just keep your heads and just, you know, don't try to be perfect because nobody's going to be perfect.
Protect the football, sustain drives, and I think we were actually execution, you know, I don't think, for the most part, it was turning the ball over that stopped drives. The execution, we were moving the football when we were protecting it. But, you know, you'll have that stuff. You got to make the plays when they're there and play defense when you turn it over. You know, so I'm glad we played tonight, and I'm glad they worked through the conditions.
Coach Nichols said this week that he loved your line, called your line enormous, said this is a trench game, and I thought your kids played awesome in the trenches.
Yeah, they did. O-line and D-line. Yeah, O-line and D-line. It really, you know, I think, especially in the conditions, they were doing some defensive adjustments. They started loading the box up a little bit at the end, and you know, they made some nice plays inside. So we tried to go outside a little bit. You know, we tried to adapt to what they were doing. But I think O-line did well. They sustained that third touchdown. That was we were up 13-7. That was super critical. You know, they need those linemen need to. And I told them on that drive, this is on you right now to sustain a drive, and you know, they got excited about that.
That was big.
Yeah, and
huge
they went
drive.
out and did it. Yeah,
huge drive. John's just so cool back there. It's like he just doesn't let you guys lose.
Right.
I mean, he'll take the ball.
Right, and man, did you see him lowering the shoulder?
Yeah, he just barrels over guys.
He's just not afraid to stick his head in there, and you know, when you got a quarterback who is a great decision maker and tough as nails, you know, he's gonna be hard to defend.
And the big worry coming into this season was you lose Adam, but Dakota has really made a name for himself here.
He has. There's no question. And Dakota is a tireless worker. He's a character kid. He does everything that you ask him to do, and that's a kid that doesn't have those intrinsic characteristics wouldn't be able to do what he's done.
Okay.
I mean, he didn't get any reps at tailback last year. He played slot last year.
Right.
You know, and even through the spring and the summer and team camp and all that stuff, I mean, he was a slot. So he basically was moved to tailback at the start of camp.
Wow.
And, you know, his performance speaks to his commitment and his coachability as a player.
Okay, last one. A lot of people will say, it's week 4 and, you know, whatever. But you guys know deep down inside that 1-0 in Section 2 is gigantic, do you not?
Well, it is, but the other side of that is whatever. You know what I mean?
Sure,
because there's 6 games to go. There's a long haul. We got to be, you know, we talked about before we came out the great football teams that we want to be. Play consistently week to week, and we played well last week. We need to come out and play well again this week, and we need to go do that again next week. And and that's the name of the game right now. And I think they understand that.
A lot of it is repetition and repeating the good things. Are you glad they bounced back after Dover instead of going the other way?
Yeah, that Dover was a great game for us. They're a very good football team, and I spent 10 hours on our game film.
Really?
That Saturday, you know, I was in the room from 8 until 5 o'clock. I didn't even get to the scout stuff for the following week till Sunday. Normally, I do both of that on Saturday.
Okay.
And it caused and it was our run game. There was just the timing and the mesh. The tailback Dakota was getting too tight, taking John's read away. You know, he wasn't getting. You know, all those little mechanics that make the offense go weren't right. And you know, we needed to see. We needed to see a real good competition to show us that. So, you know, we took a lot out of that loss from a technical perspective and also from a spiritual perspective.
Okay. Like where you're heading?
I do. I like where we're heading.
W's taste good, bud.
They do. Yeah, tonight was a great feeling. You know, it's to play for me to come out a couple weeks, 2 weeks in a row, bounce back, play well 2 weeks in a row, overcome some adversity with the field. You know, the kids' minds are where they need to be.